Hey, Bruno. Hello. Am I audible?
Hey Prakash.
Hey.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this meeting is recorded. Um, I think we can get started, if that's okay with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So meeting is being recorded. So yeah. So this is the bi-weekly community meeting for the private data objects Hyperledger Labs project. And this is antitrust policy. And note that we only accept like open source contributions, non-private, non-confidential information to be shared, disclosed with this meeting. This is a community meeting, and everybody is invited to participate and make contributions. Okay, having said all of that, this is the third instance of the bi-weekly community meeting, and last week we had uh, partially discussed how we intend to update some of the APIs that would help PDO when running PDO in hardware mode. When I say hardware mode, like SGX hardware mode, so we fix the Ledger APIs to better suit um, practical deployment models. And I think today what we would like to do is to continue the discussion and see what additional changes need to be made in PDO to use those APIs. And we expect that there's probably only one more PR needed to complete whatever else is needed for PDO to fully support SGX mode in EPID. Is that understanding fair, Bruno?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so I think is it fair to say that you are the owner of the upcoming PR? I know that you had one PR, but I see that it's not open anymore, so you probably are going to submit another one.
Yeah, that has to be rebased, and yes.
But do you want to quickly take us through your high-level idea of what that PR is going to be? I mean, I don't know if you have like any other agenda to discuss today.
Um, no, I don't have anything in particular. I can talk about that, I guess.
Okay, sure. That'll be helpful, yes.
You want me to go ahead?
Yeah, please.
Uh, yeah. So let me start from the previous PR. So the previous PR fixed the uh, test in SGX hardware mode because we're not running, um, and the So I think the main fix was really the addition of a YAML file for Docker Compose, which allowed to basically mount the device for the SGX attestation, essentially, and anything you need for SGX. And besides that, it had a bunch of other uh, like fixes for environment variables and other stuff. So those were essentially absorbed in other PRs that we made.
So if I may interrupt you and ask you a quick question, right? So so as far as I understand, there are a couple of things, right? Are we going to continue supporting PDO running in hardware mode on bare metal? If yes, what changes do we need to make without any Docker? So, because I think when you say YAML, you're really referring to running the whole thing in Docker, right? Let's not even go there yet. So, is there any more changes required to PDO to make it a run in hardware mode on bare metal?
Let me quickly.
Because I'm sure we need, because we just changed the APIs for the ledger, right? So maybe, but although I would say that we have also changed the register with the ledger function that we use inside the eService scripts, eService startup scripts to call the new API, but I'm not sure if that register with the ledger is being called with the appropriate parameters and all. So that's the part that I'm not really sure. So probably we need to at least do a sanity test of PDO in hardware mode on bare metal and identify if anything is broken.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So I think I can say that before the PR, it would have probably worked,
Okay.
unless there was some
Okay.
function call broken, but it should have worked with the SGX hardware mode in bare metal setting.
Okay.
So the PR that I did was really to enable testing with Docker Composes. So nothing was really broken with the SGX hardware mode. Now we choose the APIs. So I expect that if something is broken, maybe it's some function call, maybe it's the register with ledger and the parameters that are passed. So that should be an easy fix.
Okay. So but who is going to own that? Are you owning that, or do you expect that somebody else owns it? To test if PDO works in bare metal in hardware mode after PR 467.
No, you own the register with ledger, and that was
okay. So
not
you
the
want
register with ledger, the part related to CCF. So we did that. I will make sure it works with the SGX hardware mode, at least in Docker Compose, and if it works in Docker Compose, I'm confident enough that it should work even on bare metal.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so we are going to do both, right? You're going to test it in hardware mode, and then also PR to make PDO work. I'll say again in hardware mode with Docker, right? Right. So yeah, because I'll say again because it used to work in the past. I know that. Right.
Let me be precise. I will make it work. I think I can say that in hardware mode.
Yeah.
On Docker, particularly with Docker Compose.
Okay.
If you want to test on the bare metal, that's up to you.
Okay.
Because as far as I know, and maybe we can discuss this.
Yeah.
I think we said that the working platform for PDO is Docker.
Okay, fair enough. So we will test this after the above PR is made, right? That's your point, right? Somebody will test it. Maybe I can test it, right? Based on what you think is done, right?
You can write Prakash will test that.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yes. I mean, the only question is we have to find the hardware to test it. That's my only thing, right? Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. We have hardware.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the other big contribution, but in that case, it will take. I think it will take a little bit more. It will be the Docker support. Sorry, DCAP support.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So this is again in hardware mode with EPID attestation, right? So let's be very. Yeah. So this is EPID. Okay. So okay. Please go ahead with your comments on DCAP.
Yes, that will take. That will take a little more because there is something there is something implemented and working with the trust authority, and
Yeah.
which is and what I have is basically a new attestation API in that case.
Yeah.
So it needs some
Yeah.
the integration with PDO,
Yeah.
but it should not be hard to apply because using Trust Authority, basically we would use DCAP as we are using EPID.
Mhm.
However, we said that we want to support the open source DCAP libraries. So in that case, we want to support DCAP without the Trust Authority.
Okay, now I think I have to. So this is my thought process here. Okay. Before we go ahead and make any specific architecture implementation, what we could do is to list, at least to write out the possibilities, as to how we could have PDO supported with the DCAP, right? How can we support DCAP with PDO, right? Let's write the possibilities, including those that require subscription access to perhaps paid services, right? And we can upload that document in our repository and even have a discussion about that in this call or some other call, right? And then we can say, like, considering the spirit of this open source project, we choose to go with option A or something. But at least let's have the documentation already, if that makes sense to you, about the options.
Well, there are a few things there. First, well, you can implement support for all of them, although the supporting the open source DCAP is, I think it's harder. I don't know how hard, simply because the DCAP verification, the full DCAP verification will have to be done inside
Inside the enclave.
inside the TP, basically.
Yeah, so that's the other thing, right? That's the other thing to be explored. Is how similar are, yes, I understand that part. Uh, uh, but we could also see two things, right? First is we can see what native support is already offered by CCF to do DCAP attestation verification, because I'm sure that CCF enclaves at least do local verification of other enclaves, other replica enclaves, as and when you try to add them to the CCF network, right? So there is some form of attestation verification support already natively present inside CCF. So we could have an architecture where we say we want to take the most advantage of that. That is one. And I understand your concerns with solutions like subscription-based services, like even Microsoft Azure attestation, or like Intel Trust Platform. Um, Intel Trust Platform might be paid, but MAA is not paid, but it requires you to have hardware in Azure. So there are limitations to both. But I don't fully understand. I don't even fully think that like Hyperledger will be opposed if we implement any one of those and say that, by the way, others are free to contribute other solutions, like implementations of other solutions outlined in this document, right? We are not opposed to somebody else contributing an implementation completely based on open source libraries, like you're saying. Just that we don't know, or we are not going to do it, but nobody is stopping like anybody else from making the contribution, right? I mean, isn't that just fair? Why should it be that is the first contribution that should ever come? Like,
Uh,
why can't it be that we just show like how to use it with ITP and just say that, by the way, this is what you have to do if you have to.
ITP, you mean with
Yeah,
ITA?
yes, ITA. Yeah, if I have
Well,
to do.
the thing is that it would not be how to say reproducible,
That's
because
fine.
you
It
need
is not.
something else.
Yes, it is not
And
reproducible unless you have a paid access to ITA. That's what you mean, right?
yes, but you should also consider that this is open source community managed.
No, that's exactly what we are saying. We are all that we are saying is this is one possible solution, and we welcome other possible solution. Except that we really don't know how to implement that. I mean,
It,
it's really hard to do it.
it's by all means an open possible solution.
Yes.
But since it is open source community managed, and particularly it's under Hyperledger, you're basically giving to the open source community something, some piece of code that relies on a paid service. So essentially, the open source community would be
No, no, no,
forced
no, no,
to.
no, 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 no. That's not the point. What we are giving them is the implementation of. We are. I mean, we are not the owners of this project. We are just a participant as far as the community is concerned. So we are giving them one possible solution, and we invite other or even improved solutions from the community. Just leave it at that. We are not saying that everybody should only use this. Is that this is what we can contribute. I mean, that's my take.
Yeah, but it's hard for that to belong to the project, because if it's given to the open source community and particularly under Hyperledger, the community is sort of forced to maintain that code because now it owns that.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so
So
at least,
that's the problem.
okay, but at least can we agree that we can make a document outlining the various possible approaches?
Yes, and if I can publish sooner or later the abstraction of the attestation, that would also make it easier to support different kinds of
Okay,
attestations.
PR with document outlining uh, approaches to enable PCAP attestation with PDF. Okay. Can I assign you as the owner?
Yes.
Contribute. Okay. 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 So we can just leave it at that for as far as that specific item is concerned, right? Because if we want to implement something, or what do we want to implement, that depends, like you say, on the community's decision. Right? Yeah. If there is support from the community more than just from Intel, that's your point, right? From others in the community as well, would say, yeah, let's go with A or B, then let's do that.
Yeah, I frankly think that like any contribution that would use some paid services should probably stay in the hand of who is interested in contributing those.
Okay.
And the open source community managed project should have hook points to, well, to use those.
Yeah.
Because why not?
I mean, that really takes you to the question of what are the policies for community contribution, right? Do you have community governance rules? Do we need to write it and upload it with PDO, PR contribution and acceptance rules, something? I mean,
Well, actually, that can be another discussion point for today, since we're talking about the like updating the commit comment, the
yeah,
description.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, but I thought the agreement there was that we will not change anything that's already committed, except that I will make another PR with documentation needed to explain the last commit.
yeah, I mean that is fine to fix the status quo,
Yeah, yeah,
but I think we can like discuss a document for contributions, what to
yeah.
expect from
PR
contributions.
with document outlining uh, guidelines,
My idea would be to
video community rules.
heavily
Yeah,
borrow from Fabric.
sure. I mean, yeah, yeah. So let's start something, right? This is this is all hands, right? Really, because like
Yeah,
everybody we should contribute to this. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, I see that Elizabeth has joined. Hey, Elizabeth, welcome to the call. Would you like to speak up? Okay, so let's go ahead, Bruno. Uh, okay, so this is yeah, so we do need this, right? Community role. So guidelines, guides for I mean criteria for contributing PRs, right? Contributing, accepting PRs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, so this also includes details such as documentation of the PRs and things like that, right? So, right.
Yeah, description of the PR, documentation, make sure that the commits are
And this could
well
also
described.
this could also include things like what you are saying, right? Whether it is an open source, it is a PR in the open source spirit or not, and if something that is not in the open source uh, spirit, we don't want to completely ignore them. There should be some criteria for why and how that should be accepted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay, fair enough. Okay, good. Okay. Uh,
Fabric also has this policy of keeping the PR small, something like 200 lines
hence,
of.
you're saying that Bruno suggested um looking at Hyperledger Fabrics rules, right? Community rules.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. Okay, that's good. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to discuss today? I don't have any topics to discuss today other than we have a bunch of outstanding PRs that we need to review.
And
Uh,
or issues, I think.
oh yes, so that is the other thing. Yes, I think yeah, this is a PDO repo and this is the PDO contracts repo, and this has a bunch of open PRs, all mainly Docker, Jupyter Notebook related. All of them are Jupyter Notebook related. One of them is mine, and the other two are Mix. And I think what's going to happen is we'll most likely end up reviewing Mix first, and then mine, even though I opened it earlier, because I could take advantage of some of the things that Mick has done more recently. Okay, and issues, right? So do you want to start with the issues in the PDO contracts repo first or PDO repo first?
As you wish, although I am not super familiar with the PDO contract repo.
Okay, so let's go through the reviews in the PDO repo. What I would have really liked is another tag that assigns a kind of priority. Is it possible to add here instead of other label, projects, milestone, assignee, some kind of like importance, priority? I mean, it would be good to have that. I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah, you can
I don't even know if we can add another tag here.
labels.
Yeah,
No,
label.
above, you can, if you click on that,
Oh yeah,
you can create new labels if you want.
oh new label. Yeah, let's say priority.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it doesn't need any. It's obvious, right? Yeah. Okay, let's go back. Hopefully, oh, it doesn't show anything. There's no priority. Yeah, it's there. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah, it doesn't show here. Yeah, but maybe, yeah, but maybe when you go inside this, it'll show. Yeah, it doesn't show.
I don't
Interesting.
think you
Yeah.
assigned the label.
What do you mean? I was hoping that it will show up here. It says 20 labels.
Uh-huh.
And we do have it here. Um,
But I don't think you assigned that to
what-
the PR.
right. But, oh, no, 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 no. Oh, I see. So it's a label like that. It's a label like documentation or something. It's not a new tag, not a new tag type. So the label
What do you mean by
is,
tag?
I wanted an importance, like I wanted another column, like you have author, label, projects, milestone, assignee, sort. Another column that says how important is that issue.
Oh no, I don't think.
This is something else. This just says what type. This just says a type. It doesn't say like how important is the type. How important is a specific instance of the issue, right? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so let's ignore that. It's not possible. So just leave it at that. Okay. So I see that you have opened a couple in the last week. Uh, yeah. So, so this one is basically about the cache, right? That we use in the PDO-TP, and your point is that it's fine for now as long as we only have a single node CCF, but anytime we move to a replicated CCF, this will cause a liveness issue.
Single node and always up.
Yes, of course, it's always up. Always, yeah. If it fails, it fails, right? Yeah, a single node. If it fails, it's dead, right? I mean, there is no restart of single node CCF, right?
Oh, is
Uh,
there not? No restart?
uh, so that's
In CCF, I mean,
see.
in
So
general.
that's the other thing. Okay, so CCF as an infrastructure gives you a lot of options for like adding node, removing nodes, the restarting, the recovery, like attestation of CCF. We do not expose APIs for the PDO administrators or the PDO users to take advantage of any of those CCF features. So for example, like attestation of the PDO TP itself, right? Like at least to get a quote from like how you attest the code is really up to you. But like even to get a quote from that, we do not have an API that we expose that internally wraps its CCF provided API to generate and the quote, right? So the question is like how important are things like that? I mean,
Mhm.
it's important. It's not important for contract development, but when it comes to deployment, right? If I'm expected to participate in a PDO contract, I'm not going to participate unless I attest the PDO TP, right?
Got it.
Yeah. Okay, so that's probably another issue, probably worth opening. It, so this one, I understand. So I send it to myself if it's fine with you.
Mhm.
This is really a bug, right? Bug or uh, is it probably good first issue, or like how would you say it? Or is it it's an enhancement? It's probably a bug. I would just leave it at that.
Well, I guess yeah, there should be a revision there.
Okay. Okay, so okay. Okay, so that's okay, so that's good. But it's not important, right? It's not urgent. It's important, it's not urgent.
Yeah, yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, so that's good. And what is this? Consistency guarantee is related to PDO-TP. So this is essentially a documentation issue, right? At least to start with.
So, well, definitely it's documentation issue, but this could result in a bit more than that. Could
Depending on the
be
outcome, depending on the observations in the documentation.
that's correct.
Okay.
So it could come out that hey, the consistency guarantees of CCF were not clear, but now they're clear, and we're using the APIs correctly, or perhaps there is something wrong in the
Sure. Okay.
in
So
the TP.
okay. So this is yeah. Okay. So again, is this urgent? Again. So my point is this: as long as you're stuck with a single node CCF, these issues won't even show up, right? I mean, like any issues, any potential issues might not even show up when we actually test PDO, right? All this,
I
I mean, right? Does it make sense?
So in this case, I'm not sure for two reasons. So first, because whenever you want to commit a transaction, even with a single node, it doesn't seem to be like immediate. The transaction commit. It seems it takes a little bit.
That is correct. Yes, that is correct. It will take time because even a single node keeps two copies of the state, right? Local and global, right? There
Yeah,
is
and the second thing is because of that. Yes, because you have two copies of the state. So I'm not. I don't know.
No, my point is this. So there are two things. So if you want to see, if you have to, so of course, first thing is we don't know the behavior. That's point number one. I mean, we think we know the behavior, but we haven't really found a way to test the behavior. That's point number one. Second thing is even to test the expected behavior, two things have to happen. First, even with a single node CCF, we need a test environment where more than one user tries to submit transactions at the same time, and our run test just does not do that, right? The run test is all single user. At any point in the execution is just one user trying to submit transactions to CCF, right? We don't have a multi-user uh, test, right? Yes, we have PDO contracts and uh, Jupyter notebook based demos do that, but even there it's all manually executed, and even in that part of the execution is that really one user submitting transactions inside a really large enough time window that is considered relevant for this discussion, right? In a period of few seconds, right? So like any issue will show up only if the parallel transactions are submitted almost at the same time, literally, right? So we do not have
Yeah,
tests. Yeah,
but in this case, even if you have tests,
yeah,
you can hope that tests with enough concurrency will make issues pop up,
yes.
but that's not a guarantee because you never know how these concurrency
No,
things
I agree.
go.
I completely agree that concurrency problems cannot be identified with fully with tests, and that's not the perfect approach. My only point is that we now wait, so that's why I go back to my assumption. We think we know what the consistency model offered by PDO-TP is, right? Now the question is, how do you want to test it? Either we go through a formal like algorithm to write up and try to fool proof it either with right, or we at least have some tests, right? So we have to do either of the two, right? So then we can do both. That's my hope. Yeah.
Well, definitely, I think we would like some proofs at some point.
Yeah. So at least let's start with the documentation. I would just leave it there. A documentation that says things about what we think is the consistency model of PDO-TP and how do we tie it back to what CCF offers. Right, let's start there, and then if somebody says that no, this is not what I observed, then probably we can take it up again at that point in time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so whom should this be assigned to?
Think to the CCF expert.
Who's that? Michael?
it's it's definitely not me. I would say it's you.
Yeah, we can jointly own this. Yeah, I can own it. I don't have a problem with your, yeah, But this is really going back to an academic style of writing. Far
No, this
from
is just documentation, and
yeah,
then we can see
yeah,
if
yeah.
the
Oh,
PDO-TP
okay,
respects
yeah.
those things.
Okay, so we have some resolution on who is supposed to do what now. Yeah. What else is something that we can quickly some resolution on? Add support for sharing bundles of the related contracts. I think this is what Mick is trying to solve in
472.
most 472, right? So
Yeah, maybe you can
this
just
is
add a link.
that I'll just assign it to Mick and then let him make. And this is the label is definitely an enhancement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's good. Yeah, it's okay. Now, okay. CMake dependencies to 322. I don't know. We should chat with Marcella for that.
Which
Uh,
one?
444 upgrade all CMake dependencies to 322. Why do we want to do that? So I think this goes back to the question of how far are we from making the default OS version to 22 than 20.
I don't know, frankly.
Yeah,
Let me see if
yeah, I don't know
I
that.
can see CMake somewhere.
Yeah. So can we do we have can this be taken up as part of upgrading video OS version from Ubuntu 20.04 to Ubuntu 22.04, right? I'll just leave it at that because there are a bunch of such things. Okay, I think we should have a call with Marcella to understand what she means by some of these other issues, right? Implement digital wallet app. Maybe this should be even in, maybe this should be and issue on the PDO contracts repo. Does that make sense? This should not even be here. Right?
Maybe consider that this is from April 2023.
Yeah, this is
So-
an app. So this is not a repo for apps. Apps should all go in the other repo. I don't want anything here. This is just the infra pieces.
Okay,
so that
so in some places we have CMake minimum required of 3.16. So maybe that's okay. I guess that's still open.
can what is this SW best practices compliant? So okay, so okay, can this issue can aspects can this issue be discussed as part of PDO community guidelines for PR contribution? Right? Is it does it make sense? Or is it totally independent? And this seems like completely out of place for me. I mean, I don't even understand what this means. Right? A number of software supply chain best practices frameworks have come out. Fair enough. This issue tracks implementation plan for tracking for meeting these practices. This is like way out of scope. We don't even have a
It's about
community guideline yet.
security slash project management to
Community
make it compliant with
guidelines
those.
for PDO, right? For PDO.
No, she would like to add something to the project itself, like
but
something to the build.
but that's correct. But again, you're forcing something like you said to be maintained by the community, right? So it's not just about the fact that it might all be open
But
source
this is about
tools.
open source security, so
And it's no,
these would be good practices.
that's true. But again, it has to be that's true. But going back to the core spirit of the point that whatever core code that you're contributing, unless it's absolutely urgent and important, it's going to be maintained by the community, right? So the community should feel that this is important. So that's the question. Who makes the final call that this is important, right? Things like bugs, documentation are all like obviously important, right? Because they were solving bugs in what already exists and documenting what's already there. Any new feature must go back to the guidelines that we have for peer contributions.
Yeah, but many things that she's talking about come from the OpenSSF.
Okay.
So ideally, you would like to adopt practices coming from there because they deal with open source security.
Okay. I think we need to discuss this even before I yeah, I really don't know. I mean,
Not saying no, but I
yeah,
think it's I don't think it's appropriate to dismiss this as
I'm not dismissing this. But I just would like some more details as to what this means.
oh, okay, ask.
Uh, yeah, do we have a plan for how we want to proceed? Right? Is that fair? How we intend to proceed? Does this right? Would be good to have. Would be good to have a plan for how we intend to proceed. Okay, because otherwise, I mean, yeah, I mean, it feels like we want to add just, yeah, I'll just leave it at that for now. Okay, implement CK-SNAR contract library. So this again should perhaps move the issue to the PDO contracts repo. Why is it here? It is a contract library, right? There is no real reason for this to be here.
Apparently, well,
Yeah.
again, this is April 2023, so
Yeah. So, yeah, fair enough. That's good. What is this? HTTPS proxy from. Wow. I think you should comment on this. Yeah, I think this is between you and Mick, right?
not really. Need to understand if this was part of the previous overhaul of the environment variables.
Right now we are like overriding the proxy environment variables for the IAS class with a completely unique proxy, the request class that we use to retrieve files. We should not override. This is might be tricky for it needs to be for Intel employees since IAS server sits on the Intel host, but the host requires proxies. This is only use. It might be useful to simply case it. Okay, I don't know. Okay. Should I assign it to you? Anyway, you're going to test the hardware more now.
No, that's not up to me. So this is 427.
I don't even know the issue. I haven't even seen this in action. Yeah, so I understand what you're saying, but yeah. Okay, so this, yeah, let's just,
Oh, okay, I
yeah,
think I
yeah,
understood.
yeah.
So,
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
so the
Let
HTTP
me.
proxy was, so we had an issue with the proxies. I think
Uh-huh.
those are mostly solved since we overhauled since Mick did the
Uh-huh.
overhaul of the environment variables,
Uh,
but there is still this HTTP proxy field in enclave toml, which allows to override the proxy.
I see.
And we should not be doing that.
Uh-huh.
Um, so so the field is still there, and I think that yeah, this is done still in the Python code, so that this is still open.
Okay. Okay, so let's leave it open then. That's, yeah, unless we have. Okay, run CCF instances in hardware mode. Yeah, so that is for me. Yeah, okay. That's fair. Fix script determine whether CCFTPs are ready. I yeah, I think this issue uh can be closed now, given after the recent improvements to CCF EP startup. Uh, uh, I'll ask him. Let's come on. Okay, I think this can be closed now. I think you don't need to worry about it now. At least in a single node system, the PDO TP startup is really fast. Because we are not installing all the Python environment again and again. Yeah, so that's good. So that will fix that. This is what, yeah, so this is what you have. So yeah, so this is like we said, Bruno to contribute documentation with approaches for decaf support. Yeah. Is that fair?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, we're making a lot of progress, I think.
Is that assigned? I don't think it's assigned.
Yeah, I mean, this is like enable decaf code. Like, I don't want to assign that to anybody else, right? I'm just saying that you're going to contribute the documentation. That's part of. So this is like enhancement. It can be an enhancement, right? Are you sure you want to assign to you? I can do it if you want it, but I thought,
Yeah, send that to me.
sure, sure. Yes, that's good. Okay, so consolidation of a register with a ledger step. Yeah, so this is what you are going to do with the most with the recent with the upcoming PR, right?
Yeah, so this should be done essentially,
Oh, this is
but
done. Oh, you say that once we merge 467, that this can be. I agree. We can close this. I think that's
yeah, I just wanted to test the Ardor mode, although this is orthogonal, but
okay. So okay. So let's say closed after merge of 467, if that's fine with you. Is it
but
fine?
467 has already been
Merged. Yeah, it's already been merged.
yeah, so you can close it basically.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, let me double check what I wrote here.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. This says it is tracked via 467, 463.
Okay, no, I think this is done. Okay, what I want to double check is orthogonal really. So
Okay. Okay. Close it. Comment. Okay. Done. This is closed. Okay. That's good. Wow. We finally closed one. That's good. That's great. Yes. Huh. What is this? Incorporate the Python script building infrastructure from Exchange contracts. Other projects have advanced scripting for PDO, such as we incorporate other projects. Which other projects? Advanced scripting for PDO? I have no idea what he means. Is this should is this okay? Let him reply. Okay, so there's something that you opened. Interesting. Update SGX code status verification in Python. What is this?
I think there are some places in the Python code where we still verify the attestation or part of it, like the SGX code status. But
In Python? I thought I thought it's all done inside the TP, right? Why is it done in Python?
Because in some places we check something, and like in this link that I put it here. So we need to understand if that's still needed, or it can be removed, or it can still, or we can just use the PDO crypto library.
And
So
I still
without
would like to understand where in the PDO execution flow do we check the code verification status in Python?
click the link.
Here. PDO enclave.py. IAS for verification.
I guess this is just a pre-check of the fields, just to
before you submit it to the TP, right? But that's the thing.
yes.
We should not even be doing all of this here. It's for the PDO TP to make the determination if it's a valid or invalid enclave. I mean, this is entirely up to that specific hosting organization to apply local policy, right? This is like, yeah, this is completely arbitrary here. You don't even need this code here. This is an optimization at best.
It's a double check, I would say. I guess probably it's not required, although it's very useful to have these group out of date warning at that point.
Yeah, so my point is this is not a security check, really. This is just
Yes,
yeah.
It's not a security check. I would not call it that way.
Yeah, so this is
actually, why don't you comment that? This doesn't look like a security check. Should we keep this?
Yeah, this doesn't. Yeah. We check best and optimization. Right. Maybe close this issue, right?
Or maybe remove the piece of code.
Yeah. Even remove the code. That's the local status check. Status check at the e-service, right?
Elizabeth, the thing is that the enclave services are these services that run these enclave, which in turn run the contracts on top. And when they start, they're supposed to start the enclave, get an attestation, and register that on the ledger so that it's publicly visible. So the attestation, when we talk about attestation, we're talking about hardware-based attestation, which ensures or make it verifiable that these enclaves really run on genuine SGX hardware, so their integrity and confidentiality is protected. This is what we mean.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. So I think we are at the top of the hour. I think we can stop for today. If that's fine with everybody, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Is there any final comments from anybody?
Nope.
Okay. We reviewed several. Okay, thank you so much. Talk to you next time. Bye.
Couple of weeks. Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.